Hey everyone, Chang here. This is the practice problem video series. For today's standard test kind of questions, we have this one right here. ABCD is a square. So this picture right here, even though it might not look like it, this is a square. Now we're trying to find two things. Find the sum of the perimeter and the sum of the area of the four small triangle. So when we look at this picture, it's clear that the small triangles are these little guys right here created by these two lines that intersect in the center, and then it makes these four small triangle. So we're trying to find two things, the perimeter and the area. Now, what do we know? Well, first and foremost, we know that this is 2, and we know that it's a square. That means all the other sides also 2. Okay, so good, we have that. Now, well, here's the funny thing. The area we can actually find almost right away. The reason for that is because guess what? The area of this guy plus the area of this guy, plus the area of this guy, plus the area of this guy. Well, that's the whole square. So instead of trying to break it apart, trying to find the area of each and every one of these individual triangle, if we just find the area of the square, we have the area. Well, in this case, we know that the area of a square is just your base times height, well, which is 2 times 2. So the area, which we basically solved almost immediately, area is just 2 times 2, which is just 4. Great, we have one of the answer already, right? Now, the second one is the perimeter, and that one's a little more tricky. Now, here's the thing. What exactly is the perimeter? Well, it's these guys right here, right? Each and every one of them. We want to add them all together. Well, here's what we know. We know that it's a square. That means these are all right angles. There and there and there. Excellent. Now, the other thing we know is that, well, since these are all right angles, we know the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared, which gives us the diagonal. Great, that's what we need. So, if we have a squared plus b squared, which is going to be 2 squared plus 2 squared equals c squared, 2, 2, 4, that's 8, right, total, equals c squared. So, c equals the square root of 8, or in other words 2 square root 2. Okay, so that gives us this diagonal right here. It's going to be 2 square root 2. This whole thing, I'm going to try to highlight it like this, and that's 2 square root 2. Same reasoning, the other side is also 2 square root 2. Now, how do we find the perimeter? Well, we know that's going to be each and every one of these individual triangle add together, but here's another thing we can do. Well, we know that the part of the triangle is the sides, the outsides. So we can add the outsides first. And that's 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. That's 8, right? So that's part of it. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8. And these are all the outside of triangle. So got to be a little organized here. So that's 8. Okay, now we need the inside, this section, this section, this section, and this section. And here's where people can get messed up. Remember this. This whole thing is 2 and square root 2. That means it might be 1 and square root 2 each, but you have to count it twice. Why? Because guess what? This side right here counts for this triangle, but it also counts for that triangle. Each and every one of these sides, same thing. This side counts for this top triangle, but also this side triangle. So, what do we have? We know that 2 square root 2 is this whole thing. If we want, we know that each of these segments is going to count twice. So this one must count twice. So it's going to be 2 square root 2 times 2 just to count one of these segments. And we have 2 of them. So it's going to be another 2 square root 2 times 2. 2 square root 2 times 2 equals, I guess you could say, the diagonals of the triangle. Or the other side. I'll just call it diagonal. Diagonals triangle, right? That's one of these guys right here. And it's going to be used twice, so we have to multiply by 2. That gives us 4 square root 2. But now there's the other side, same thing. There's 2 of them, so it's going to be 2 square root 2 times 2, which is going to be another 4 square root 2, right? That gives us a total of, if we add these guys together, let me just make sure I emphasize we're adding these guys together, that's going to give us 8 square root 2. Don't forget this guy, right? Our original outside, which is 8. So the final answer, the perimeter, is going to be the outside 8 plus 8 square root 2. And that would be your answer for this one. So once again, area, easy. Found the area of the square, realizing that if we add all those individual area of the triangle, it's just the area of the square. So it's going to be 2 times 2 is just 4. And then the perimeter was the harder one, realizing that it is a right triangle. Using Pythagorean theorem, we found the diagonals, and then we made sure that we account for the fact they're going to be used more than once. So we have 8, which is the outside of each and every one of those triangles. And then we have 8 square root 2, which is each and every one of these sides.